Nobody. You wake up and the day was already decided for you. The alarm, the route, the hours, the rules. None of it was yours. You live inside a structure built by people you will never meet, following systems designed without you in mind. You go where you're told. You adjust when things change. You wait when nothing moves. If you disappeared tomorrow, the world wouldn't pause for a second. Not because you don't matter as a person, but because you haven't built anything yet that requires your specific presence to keep running. That's where it starts. That's where almost everyone starts. Working power. Then you get a job, a role, a defined place inside the machine. And for the first time, it feels like progress. Because it is. You're useful now. You complete tasks, hit targets, trade your hours for a paycheck, and at the end of the week, there's something to show for it. But look closely at what you actually have. The moment the role disappears, the power disappears with it. It was never yours. It was on loan. You were holding it on behalf of the system, and the system can take it back without asking. That's working power. Real, but borrowed. Useful, but temporary. Skilled power. So you go deeper. You build something the system can't easily replace. A skill, a knowledge base, a reputation for solving problems other people can't. You become the one people call when something breaks. Your opinion starts to carry weight. You can shape outcomes now, not just execute them. You're no longer invisible, but you're still inside the structure, still dependent on it to give you the room to use what you've built. Your power is real, but it belongs to the environment that allows it to exist. Take away the environment, and you have to start over. Manager. Now you move up a level, and the shift is bigger than people expect. You're no longer just responsible for your own work. You're responsible for other people's work, their time, their output, their mistakes, their growth. You assign, you decide, you correct, you direct. And beneath you, a small system begins to move based on what you say. That feels like power, and it is, but everything still flows upward. Every failure still lands on your record. Every decision is still watched by someone above you. You have authority now, but authority inside a cage. Defined, measured, limited. You're still replaceable. They just need more time to replace you. Leader. Here is where something changes that can't easily be explained. It's not about titles anymore. It's not about who reports to you on an org chart. Leadership is what happens when people follow your judgment, not because they have to, but because they've decided to. You stop managing tasks and start shaping how people think. You anticipate problems before they become emergencies. You see how pressure builds inside a system before the system feels it. You understand how people move, how decisions ripple, and how to position yourself and others for what's coming, not just what's here. You're no longer reacting. You're reading the board 3 moves ahead, but there are still lines, still ceilings, still rooms you haven't been invited into. Still decisions that happen above you that you find out about after the fact. The power is real, but it still lives inside someone else's structure. Executive. Now the scale shifts completely. Your decisions don't affect your team. They affect entire departments, entire divisions, sometimes entire companies. Hundreds of people wake up tomorrow in a reality shaped by choices you made in a room today. Budgets move, directions change. People are hired or let go based on what you decide. You can see the full machine now, every part, every connection, every pressure point. And you understand something most people never get to see close up. At this level, mistakes are no longer small. They're visible, they're expensive, they're permanent, they follow you. The weight is different up here. And even here, even with all of this, there are still forces above you, still stakeholders, still boards, still markets, still people whose approval you need and whose decisions can override yours without warning. The cage is bigger, but there's still a cage. Owner. Now you step outside, not up, outside. You stop operating inside someone else's structure and you build your own. The risk is entirely yours now. The outcome is entirely yours. There's no one above you to approve the decision, and there's no one to absorb the damage if it falls apart. That's terrifying. And it's also the first time the ceiling disappears. Because when you own the system, you don't just earn from it, you build equity in it. You create something that can exist, grow, and generate value independently of your daily presence. You're not trading time for money anymore. You're building something that runs whether you're in the room or not. If it breaks on you entirely. But if it works, truly works, there's no limit on what it returns. Your power is no longer given, it's created. Multi-owner. One system isn't enough anymore. Not because you're greedy, but because you understand something about risk that most people don't. Any single system can fail. Any single industry can shift. Any single market can collapse. So you build many different businesses, different industries, different income streams that don't depend on the same conditions to survive. You create a portfolio of systems, each one operating independently, each one connected back to you. When one slows, the others carry it. When one fails, the others remain. You're no longer exposed to a single outcome. You've engineered resilience into how you exist in the world. Your reach is wider. Your stability is deeper. You're building networks now, not just businesses. Elite power. At this level, something invisible happens. You stop just operating in the world, and the world starts operating around you. Competitors watch your moves before making theirs. Markets adjust in anticipation of your decisions. People study your patterns to understand what's coming. Your name opens doors that have no public address. You get access to rooms that don't appear on any website, conversations that never become news, relationships that operate entirely in silence. The power at this level isn't louder than what came before. It's quieter. And that's exactly why it's more effective. Visibility is for people who still need to prove something. At this level, proof isn't required. Global power. Now the scale changes in a way that's difficult to fully grasp. Your decisions don't just affect industries, they affect economies. Regions respond to what you build or what you pull back from. Governments take notice of where you invest and where you don't. Policy conversations happen because of the reality your decisions create. You don't move fast at this level. Speed is for people who are reacting. You move precisely. Every action calculated not just for what it produces today, but for what it positions for years from now. Every move creates consequences that extend far beyond what's visible in the moment. The system that once controlled you, that told you when to wake up, where to go, what you were worth, you now affect that system, not by fighting it, not by breaking it, by moving and letting everything connected to it move with you. Ultimate power. This is where almost nobody arrives, and the ones who do, you rarely see them. At this level, you are no longer responding to the world. You are shaping it. Entire industries begin to move in directions you decided on years ago. Technologies get built or buried based on choices you made in rooms most people don't know exist. The direction of markets, the structure of systems, the opportunities that become available to millions of people. All of it bends toward decisions that originated with you. You don't appear at events to prove your power. You don't need to explain your decisions. You don't need to be visible to have impact. Layers of people, systems, and structures exist between you and everything that moves below. Information reaches you already filtered. Actions are carried out without your presence. The distance between your decision and its consequence is vast and invisible to almost everyone. You don't fight the current. You set the direction of the river, and everything downstream moves accordingly. The distance between nobody and ultimate power is not talent, it is not luck, it is not connection, though connection helps. It is the compounding result of decisions made at every level to build instead of borrow, to own instead of work, to create systems instead of serve them. Most people stop at the first level that feels comfortable. That's not a failure of ability, it's a failure of vision. The question was never whether you could climb, it was always whether you understood what you were climbing toward.